I'd like to say, and I think that I was asked at some point in time, friendship stops when the country's interests are at stake. I'll be very specific. Junabaya is heading the DOTC.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues in the DOTC. And, would it be better to find somebody else? One of the foremost things in my mind was when you talk about, or used to talk about corruption, they'll say DPWH,
Yes.
They'll talk about customs. Not too many people seem to realize that because of all of the jargon, the technology involved in DOTC,
DOTC that it's a,
it's the easiest. If I can, in ZTE.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How many still remember that ZTE, where we were going to get all of those equipment, actually was buying equipment from Israel? It was not their equipment.
Yes.
So, logically, to set up that network, we could have probably gone to the primary source and gotten a better price.
Right.
But we were at a very late stage in that contracting with ZTE.
Yes.
So, the
So
point
you're saying you trusted, at least what I'm getting, you trusted Junabaya.
number
to
one,
not be
not to be corrupt,
Yeah.
which is the fundamental.
Yeah.
Number two, had training in very related fields.
Okay.
Number three was he was chair of APRO in the House. Now, and then back to the communicating, could it have been done better? You know, anything made by an imperfect being like man, by definition, is imperfect and can be improved. Now, was he? I'm sure, in hindsight, everybody will say that this, done that. But everybody who keeps saying an opinion, hopefully you'll also go back to what are the conditions emanating.
Right, right.
You know, one of the things that I really distinctly remember is, why are the trains bogging down? And he tells me, number one, sir, there was an overhaul that was scheduled in, I think, 2008 to ensure that it reaches the 15-year lifespan.
Yes.
And what happened? They did something. So they did an overhaul. They did something, a minor overhaul, a major. Yes. One time, just to give you what he has to contend with, and again, with all due respect, I'm not blaming anybody at this point. I mean, the people who are actually there. If you remember, there was a PNR train that fell on its side near
Yes.
Villamor.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Amongst the things they discovered was, when you join rails, there is I think they call it a fish angle bar. The bar connects the two pieces of rail. There are 4 nuts and bolts. Well, technically there are 2 with bolts and 2 that are press fitted. So they showed us pictures. Some of them had 4, some of them had 3, some of them had 2, some of them had 1. Now instead of 1, at least 2, no? 1 on that rail and 1 on this rail, you only had 1. So I asked, the person who was talking to me was the deputy general manager, who happened to be an accountant by trade. So I want to talk to your engineers. So we waited for the engineers. So I asked them, when you have 3 only of the 4, is that still considered safe? No answer. If you have 2, no, is that still not safe? If it's 1, obviously, I guess it's no longer safe. What are the limitations when there are bolts that are missing? Lower speeds, etc.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I guess I had quite a number of questions, and I stopped asking questions rather, when I was not getting any answers. And these were the most senior people there, no? And I called Jun's attention to it. And the general manager was out of the country. I want the general manager back here as soon as possible. I want him to start addressing all of this. I want a report on what he actually did. No? And he doesn't leave, doesn't do anything else until this is settled. Then his main issue was, sir, under the procurement law, it takes us this long to get that.
Yes, yes.
And in a sense, that's also true. No? Anything government wants takes about 4 to 6 months. No? From the time you order to the time it gets delivered.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I replace him with somebody that's less trustworthy, and who will accept the position at a year to go. We do it and things like that.